come in having fun. So, oh, here we are.
Hey,
We are
hey.
live. Welcome everybody to Build It Through Culture Live, and I am Rob Genovese, and I am the owner of Unleash My Beast brand, and also I am the regional director for Master Networks for New Jersey. I am area director for Rockland County, New York, and very proud of that. So those are my two endeavors, the two atmospheres I straddle: the branding world and the networking world. They complement each other really well, but I love building master networks. I love building networks. I love connecting people, and I love talking about culture. So I'm here with my culture collaborator, Steph Bellafato. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself so you can know who she is, and we'll come back to you.
Hey, everybody. We're so glad you're here with us tonight. I am Stephanie Bellafato. I am the Carmel chapter president and also an area director in the New York, Connecticut region, as well as being on the national, regional culture and retention team with Rob and Tina. And I represent ServPro. We're your local disaster recovery specialist. So anything related to fire, water, mold, biohazard crime scene, we can clean it up for you. We're so happy you're here with us
Yeah,
tonight.
and if you know this song, like, tell us if you know what this song is. I actually now I know where it comes from. I just don't recall ever hearing it before, but tell me if you know this song. Put it in the chat if you know what this song is. Bonus points if you know who wrote it um, or performs it. That would be great too. But here we go. So we're getting underway. If you've heard that, maybe we'll play it again for you later. But it's always a theme, right? Our song is kind of a cue to the theme of the episode, and we are at episode 16 tonight. We've done 16 episodes, Steph. 16. It's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Now,
That
I
is
don't know if
pretty
people
good.
are coming. What we got some people here. We got Mary Ellen.
Oh,
Hey,
there's
Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen, we got to talk again. We haven't spoken in a while. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, there's
And
Anna. Hey, Anna. Oh, Elena's here
Elaine is in the
too.
house. She's always in the house, and she's laughing her
Elena's always here
butt off.
supporting.
I'm not sure why
So is
she's
Mary
laughing.
Ellen.
That's Mary Ellen. Anna, hey Anna, hello there. Welcome, Anna. Good to see you. Yeah, it's it's good to see you all. I don't know. We just have a lot of fun when we do this, and we do this largely because we enjoy talking about culture.
Yep.
And we do this because the things that we talk about when we talk about culture, we know helps people. It helps you in your building your business. It helps you in building your networking organization or any organization you're part of. Honestly, it could be sports organization. It could be a church organization. It could be your family. Like culture, when you really understand it, helps you grow it because when people come into the organization and they know what the culture is, they know how to conduct themselves, right? It orients them. Hey, Rachel. Rachel's here. How you doing? She's always here. And she's
Hey,
not the first one in
Rach.
the room.
I know. I know. She usually
Thanks for coming.
is, right?
Thanks for coming, Rachel. Yeah, so culture is infused into everything that you should be doing, And if you're just tuning in, or if you're not just tuning in, I want you to like the Master Networks Inc. page, which is the page you're watching this on right now. This is how we come live to you through Facebook, through the Master Networks Inc. page. If you don't already like it and follow it, do that now so you don't miss the notification when things like this and other things come out. There's a lot of great content that's going to be coming down the pipeline. And also share this to your personal page. Share this with people because this isn't just for Master Networks people, although we do have a good contingency here. This is for everybody to learn how to apply culture to everything they do to grow it. Right, Steph?
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, once you share it to your page, do us a favor and put it in the chat and say shared. We would appreciate that.
Yeah.
We want to know who's sharing it because we want to be able to thank you for that. Look, like Rob just said, this thing can grow legs, right? And it has reach outside of Master Networks. And we are not just any other networking group. We are Master Networks. We are all about relationships and community. So, and fun, right? We all like to have fun too.
Always have fun.
Yeah.
Elena shared it. Thank you, Elena. Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Elena.
Share it out. You utilize your network. Add value to your network. That's what this is really about. When we say share it, it's not for me and Steph. We don't get paid to do this, by the way. Master Networks Inc. the company didn't come to us and said, "Hey, would you do this, and we're going to compensate you." They never said that. In fact, we started doing it, and then we kind of got their blessing. But we do this because we know it helps. And when you share it to your network, you're going to be helping somebody in some way with what we talk about here, because we talk about good stuff that's applicable. It's everyday stuff you're not going to learn anywhere else, right?
Right, right. And to Rob's point, so I'm going to give a great, big, huge shout out to Renee Pride, right? Because Renee Pride, woo woo, Renee Pride was the one that said, "Hey, will you guys do it on the Master Networks Inc. page?" And we were like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
hello, of course we would. We would love to do that." So she's the president now of Master Networks Inc. So a huge shout out to her. She's an
Yeah.
amazing individual, and she's really super supportive of Rob and I always. So,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
also, listen, let's give a shout out to Chaz Wilson, who started this organization to begin with. So a big, huge shout out to Chaz.
Yep.
And they're always working. HQ is always working to try to make our experience in Master Networks better.
Yeah. I was just on a rep call not too long ago, and they're talking about how are they going to add more value, not how they're going to do it, but what they're going to do to add more value to the organization. Because, although this isn't, put on by Master Networks, we're members, we hold leadership roles inside Master Networks. We help build it. Culture is just one of the ways we do that. But honestly, it's an organization that offers so much more. A lot of people. It's actually Chaz said this to me one time. He goes, actually, we're more of an organization of opportunity masquerading as a business networking group, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what people know. They go, "Oh, business networking. I need business. Let me go network inside this group." And really, doing business is like just a piece of what you get.
That's a tiny little sliver of what we do, right? And Rob, you and I talk about this all the time, that we get so much from each other, from the stories we share, from the training that HQ puts out to us, that that kind of it pokes us to have deeper conversations about certain things, and therefore you get what we like to call golden nuggets from people that you can take with you to help you in your business be better and therefore earn more, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Be better. So at Connect this year at Master Networks annual conference, we learned a new word from Ursula Menges, who's a fantastic sales coach, written a few books. And her latest book is called Up Level. So she said from stage, right? She goes, I want you to up level. And she was explaining it because it's not a word, right?
Right. But
There's
it's
no
going to
such
be, she
word.
said, it'll be in the dictionary soon enough, right?
It will be, right?
Right.
And I said to her, I kind of met her in the hall, introduced myself. I said, I appreciate that, because if you really, from a branding perspective, if you really want to set yourself apart, you got to own words. You got to own things. You got to own the logo. You got to own the color. You got to own the word. So I said, the best way to own a word is to make one up.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Right.
So
like this year, Rob's new word and our new word that I now adopted from him last year when we had our golf outing, right? It was epic. And Rob and I are talking and he's like, okay, so this year it's epicer, right? So it's going to be epicer. So Rachel, tell your daughter we need a video of her saying, because last year Rachel's daughter, I guess, heard me at so many meetings saying this is going to be an epic event. So we need Rachel's daughter to say it's going to be an epicer event, Rachel.
Even epicer. I
She's
didn't
on
know
it.
how do you top epic? So I didn't have a word, so I just said epicer.
Yeah. Well, listen, last year we had over 250 attendees.
He's
And
on it.
this year we're looking at over 300 attendees from all different states, from New Hampshire, from Rhode Island, from Pennsylvania, from Tennessee, from Texas, from Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. I think there's going to be, about 11 different people, 11 states being represented at this golf outing. So, guys, if you haven't gotten your tickets for the golf outing,
Want to
Please,
get
I
them.
highly, you don't want to have FOMO. I'm telling you, what ended up happening last year was the people that weren't able to attend were like, oh my God, I saw the video and I have so much FOMO now. I should have been there. I needed to be there. I'm like, well, then you better
Yeah,
get your tickets this year.
absolutely. That's the thing. People will wait until the last minute, and look, as much as we keep talking about culture and developing the culture, it's infused into everything we do. So when you go to this event, it's not just like culture is in the chapter meeting. It's in the golf outing. It's in the charitable event where, because the culture is the people.
Right.
The culture is the people, because as we had learned earlier on in this program, culture is core values times your consistent behavior. So
Yep.
when everybody does their part, it creates the culture, and everybody is of the culture. So everybody brings it with them to the golf outing. And now look, so we're not going to be in Zoom, we're going to be in person. So
Yep.
we're not just going to be hanging out in a room at first. We'll be golfing. And for you non-golfers, there'll be golf lessons. Some people, if they somehow manage to sneak a golf cart, will be harassing golfers. I know
Like
that's
me, that would be me. So
maybe
I will be, I
some
will
people who
be
shall remain nameless.
right. I will be tooling around in a golf cart. So if you see me wave, right, I'll be tooling around in the golf cart, taking pictures and just making sure that everyone is having a great time. And if they need something, you'll see me out on the golf course tooling around in a golf cart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe even, I might even be kind enough and give you a cocktail.
Yeah, there you go. That's worth it right there. So maybe we should maybe oh, we only have one episode before the golf outing, but maybe we have a secret word where if you know the secret word, Steph will give you a cocktail to share.
Oh, that would be
We'll have
fun,
to come up
right?
with something.
So you have to tune in to the next
Yeah,
episode, and I'm going to share the word, right?
good
Ooh,
idea.
that's a
Good idea.
thought.
Yeah.
Good idea, Rob.
So Steph is good at coining words and phrases and whatnot. And that whole golf outing, the whole idea behind that. So you go play golf or not play golf, you hang out, but then oh my gosh, she beat me to it. We
We
don't
don't
just do
just do
business together.
business here together, people. We do life here
Like,
together.
and so the golf outing, when we come together, it's culture exemplified, but it's people coming together and just being people, human beings. And this is where people go, yeah, but you got to do business. People aren't getting business just by being all touchy feely and woo. And I go, bet me.
Yep.
You want to talk about people who, look, I just was on a face-to-face today, and this person said to me, and this person's been in Master Networks for 2 months, right? And he says to me, he goes, I wanted to hire somebody to help me with this particular project. And I knew somebody who did it at this price, but they weren't in Master Networks. And there was somebody in Master Networks who is more money. But I went with the person in Master Networks because I liked them, I trusted them, and I really wanted to be able to say I used them and shout them out because they're really doing a great job. He spent more money to hire the person. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Outside in the world, that doesn't happen. It's the cheapest price.
I'm going to tell you something. So before we came on the live, I just told Rob, I just came back from a ribbon cutting for a new business in my area. And I was talking to that business owner about Master Networks and explaining to her that we are relationship based and community minded. And we have our own community council where the funds for that community council will go back to the members and the organizations of the members that are near and dear to their heart, right? So, you get to put in paperwork for a grant and say, hey, listen, I'm doing the breast cancer awareness and I would love to give a certain amount to breast cancer awareness. Can I get support from the community council? And that's not just financial support. So if you need people on the ground, right? If you need people to walk with you, you can reach out to the community council for that. I don't know of any other networking group that does things like that. And to Rob, what Rob just put up, right? It's about contribution. And look, our chapters, some of our chapters are even sponsoring as a chapter. We're all pulling in a little money to sponsor some of the things that are going on the day of the golf outing.
Yeah, yeah. It's really amazing. Hey, look at this. Look who's here. Hey, Renee.
Oh, Renee,
Renee.
woo woo.
Renee's here.
Renee,
Thank
we
you
were
for
just
stopping by.
talking about you.
Her ears were ringing.
Her
So
ears must have been burning. And of course, we were saying all good things, how, we're so grateful for all your support. You're just an amazing human being,
she's
and
great.
how much we adore you.
Yeah, she's great. Hey, Julie, welcome. Fantastic. Oh, so here's Julie. So Julie is, forgive me, Julie, I'm not totally sure. I think you're the director of the Rockland Community Foundation, which basically is the administrative part of. Um, I can't even describe this. I'm not really good at this, but so the funds that we collect gets held in the Rockland Community Foundation, and they'll direct the funds at our discretion based on member initiatives, right?
Yeah. So Julie is a key part to that. So a big shout out to Julie, a big round of
Thank you,
applause to
Julie.
Julie, because
So
without
awesome.
her efforts, we wouldn't get to do it the way that it's being done. And we really appreciate that,
Yeah,
Julie.
absolutely. Thank you. And Rachel's chiming in on the community council. Rachel, I think, is a part of the community council, working on fundraising initiative right now. It's also now the support of the whole community. This is something that um, a lot of organizations will dip their toe in, but I think in this tri-state region, so New York, Connecticut, New Jersey region of Master Networks has jumped in full force. It's a whole council of people dedicated towards making sure that we are giving back to various charities. It's not even just a couple. It's again, if a member has a charity that is close to their heart, they can put in a request for some of the funds to be directed there. It's an absolutely amazing concept. Right. Oh my.
Yeah.
Easy to support you too. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Renee. Super, super appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so, this whole thing, this hashtag network for life, I thought about this one time because I was thinking about, it was probably while Steph and I were talking one time, but, I was thinking about what this meant to me, master networks. And, there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, as much as I'm involved, and people think this is my full-time job, by the way, master networks. They go, well, how do you have time for anything else? Like, they think that I dedicate my everyday and waking moment to it. Like I got MN tattooed on my shoulder here. I don't, right? But I got
Oh,
to tell
hey,
you,
that's a thought.
the thing is, it's not so much that I you got to understand something. I got in just like everybody else, but the organization and the culture and people like Tina Campbell, regional partner of New York and Connecticut, good friend of mine, mentor to me, and building
Yeah,
networks. It helped me get everything I was looking to achieve. Think about that for a second. What organization helps you achieve all your goals? This
right,
one. So
right.
that's why I got so committed. It wasn't like I just fell in love with the logo and all that. It's just, it gave me so much. I was compelled to give back.
Absolutely.
So this
Uh,
network for life thing that was my way of coming up with something, a hashtag that we can again own, because I don't think this is being used too much. And it's kind of a double meaning. It's we network for life, right? For life. And it is our network for life because the network you build
Absolutely.
should be for life.
Yeah, these people in these chapters in this organization, we all want to support each other, right? That's the when at the end of a meeting when we have a visitor and we ask always when we're asking, "Hey, can you tell us your best takeaway from this meeting?" I had a gentleman last week in the meeting say to me, we did a brief moment of silence in our meeting for those that suffered last week in Texas, as well as to commemorate Memorial Day, right? Like, it, take notice of what we really, it's not a celebration, Memorial Day, right? So we took a moment for that. And at the end of the meeting, he said, I've never, ever been to a networking meeting where people had so much heart.
Wow.
What does that say? That says a lot,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Like, and we, again, and it gets back to the culture. That was intentional. That was Tina's intention that there would be heart behind it, that you would come in and you would feel like you were home. Like you had a place that was a safe space, a place where people genuinely were interested in you as a person, not just your business card. So
Right.
we intentionally created that. And we, she and I worked for quite a number of months. I mean, like she was eons ahead of me, but she taught me, and we kind of bottled it, so to speak. And, and Steph, you were already of that mindset. So we're trading ideas and what we've learned, and then you're bringing in new ideas to it. And it's kind of like we're coming up with this whole formula for creating culture intentionally, which basically means that this thing it's almost self-perpetuating.
Yeah, just keep in mind how you make people feel and that you care about what they care about. Right? If you keep that in mind, how you make people feel,
Yeah, absolutely.
how would you want to feel, right? We had this conversation the other day. It's like, okay, so if someone knocks at your door, you go to the door and you greet them, right? And then you introduce them. If they don't know other people in the room, you introduce them. Make sure you're doing that in your meeting too, right? As people enter the Zoom room, greet them
Yeah,
and
imagine
introduce
this.
them.
Oh, let's imagine the opposite of that. So you're in your house, you're having a party. Doorbell rings, you answer the door, and somebody's standing there and they got a big smile on their face, and you just shut the door on them and walk away.
Right.
Could you imagine ever doing that?
No.
That's what you don't want to do. So what does that mean in terms of your networking meeting? If somebody walks in, if you're in person, man, get up and go talk to them. Go,
Right.
hey, are you new here? My name's Rob. Good to meet you, Steph. Hey, come on in. Your first time.
Yeah,
Like,
let's introduce you. Let me introduce you to a
take
couple
your
of
ass.
people, right? Like look. So what do you guys think we're talking about tonight? Because we haven't even got there yet. If you think you know what we're talking about, please put it in the chat. And please let us know if you've shared this to your page. And if you've just recently hopped on, please be sure to share it to your page and then put that in the chat that you shared.
Yeah. Renee chimed in here. Cannot wait until we have that framework of contribution and charitable arms everywhere in the country. Amen. Absolutely. Like that should be a standard part of what we do, because I tell people all the time, and sometimes this doesn't come off right when I'm talking to people one on one, and they're going, how long before I get ROI? And they mean ROI dollars, but they don't know there's also ROI connections,
Yeah.
ROI resources, ROI collaborations, like ROI training. They think ROI, how much time before I get money, and how often do I have to show up, and do I have to, and I,
Yeah.
and I go to them. It's not about you.
Right.
This is a different place. This is not about you. It's what do you bring to the table that raises others. That's how you succeed here. And people get like, what? Like their face gets like contorted.
Yep.
They don't
It's
know.
so true. Just like I was telling you, when I went to this ribbon cutting, I was explaining to this woman that, we're relationship based and community. She was like in awe. She goes, "Oh my goodness, that's wonderful." I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, well, I'll invite you to a meeting. You can come and experience it for yourself," right? Because we want to give people that experience. Don't talk too much about it because you don't want to give it all away. Invite them to a meeting and let them experience it for themselves.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. People get caught up in what do I say and all. It's like, just invite them, let the meeting do the rest. Because if the meeting is run right, if the energy is proper, if you do the right things according to the agenda, people will feel right. Because again, we have the agenda, right? And the person running the meeting, yes, is responsible for the energy, but the membership, what are they doing? Are they, if you're on Zoom, are you putting in the chat like, hey, welcome, hey, good to see you, or something that makes that person, brings them into the fold so they don't feel like
Right.
an outsider?
Right. Everybody should feel important in the room.
Yeah. That's
Every
right.
single person, right? And it's not one person's job, it's everybody's job
Everybody's
to
job.
make somebody feel welcome.
I think it's a great thing to remember, Steph, is culture is done by everybody. Tina has a line for this that she quoted Vince Kenziani. I forget what it is. And here's Tina. I'm blown away by people that think ROI is just dollars.
Yep.
Me too, Tina. Me too. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Me too. Good to see you, Tina.
Our fearless leader. She could be anywhere right now. Most likely, probably better. She probably would rather be like hanging out with her husband, just maybe a glass of wine or something, because I think she talks with people from the time she gets up till nighttime. And here she is. It's almost 7:30 at night. And she's hanging with us. So thank you, Tina, for coming by.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Tina.
Yeah.
And what a great mentor she's been to both Rob and I.
Yeah.
So guys, I didn't see anybody put in the chat yet what they think we're talking about tonight.
Yeah. I may have to just reveal it because it's going to be a few minutes before we have a surprise guest. Shh. Surprise guest is going to be coming up. So put in the chat what you think we're talking about here. It's along the lines of culture, but see if you can guess. And this is going to be different. This is actually, let's see, here's where collaborations really come in. When you really kind of sync up with somebody in terms of the way you think, like ideas come out of it. So Steph's busy, I'm busy, right? We have businesses to run, right? So Steph has Serve Pro, I have the branding company, and we forgot to talk about what was the topic going to be tonight. And this was Monday. It was Monday.
Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday? Monday. Oh,
Monday.
maybe it was Monday. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Day. And you called me and you're like, and we would talk about something else. And I was like, oh, by the way, we don't have a topic for Thursday night. And we just started talking about culture. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. What you said there, I forget which one of us said it. And it was like, we should talk about that because that is something you pull out of culture that you can look at it and this one thing can make the difference in whatever it is you're looking to get out of it.
Right.
All right. Nobody's going to guess. Nobody's guessing. So maybe she just tell them what it is.
I bet you Rachel would guess.
I know. She's like, I'm tired of telling everybody what it is.
Yeah, she probably is. She's probably like, yeah, forget it. I'm not telling you guys. I'm always the one that tells everybody what it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm just going to bring it up because we only got a couple minutes. Rachel's holding back on
all right. All right.
So this was the thing that one of us said, and again, it doesn't matter who said it, but one of us.
I think it was you. I think it might have been you.
One of us. It was this. It was, I think you and I were talking about what it's like to be in a meeting and people who talk about attendance and coming every week and how you got to put in your calendar. And it was like, yeah, they're talking about, showing up, but it's not just showing up.
Yeah.
It's how you show up that makes the difference. Because how many times have we seen this in a meeting?
Right. Or it's like, oh.
You guys being entertained by this?
Who wants to see this?
So thanks for coming.
Right. Or somebody's nodding off. Or, better yet, it's like this, right? They're paying attention they're totally distracted. They're not engaged. So my question tonight to all of you is, when you're in the Zoom world, are you paying attention to how you're showing up, what you look like, what your facial expressions are? Because if you're not, I'd like for all of you to take, the next couple of meetings, watch yourself, because you have to remember that if you're engaged, if you're smiling, if you look happy and happy to be there, that brings up the energy in the room, that warms the room more. It's much more inviting to those that enter it.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? It's taken us 16 episodes to talk about this thing. And honestly, this is at the heart of the one thing that if we talk about building organizations and specifically networking chapters, where when people come in the room and they're visiting for the first time, understand something. Remember the first time you walked in a room and you don't know anybody, or maybe just one person, maybe they're not there, and you're going, I'm the outsider coming in. And you're not just going to jump right in and start talking to people, because that's kind of weird a little bit. You're waiting for somebody, hopefully, to kind of, come over and greet you and take you by the hand and whatnot. But the people at large are responsible for the energy in the room. It's one of the top things it takes, probably the number one thing that it takes to build a networking chapter is you've got to raise the energy and maintain that energy the entire way. Now, the person who runs the meeting has a lot of control over that, but the members help out as kind of like supporting cast.
It's a team effort, right,
Team
guys? I
effort.
mean, it needs to be a team effort. Obviously, the one that's running the meeting, inflection in your voice or getting closer or moving back. So at least it's interesting. You're not just sitting in like one space and people start to glaze over, right?
Right.
Like, we don't want any of that. But think about how you show up and maybe put in the chat, maybe you have an idea of how you can be helpful to others and how they show up. I would love to see some stuff put in the chat there so we can share with each other. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Absolutely.
actually at 7:31, so we don't want to keep this
Ooh.
person waiting. We have a surprise guest today, as we always do on Build It Through Culture Live, to talk about this topic. Now, when we were coming up with this topic, we thought, well, who could be the surprise guest? And I'm telling you, one name, one person came up, and
Yep.
it was almost like there was no second choice. If this person couldn't do it, it's almost like I don't know what we're gonna do.
Right,
We're
right.
gonna do, right?
Absolutely. So we want your guesses as to who you think our special guest is. Please put that in the chat. And again, another reminder, if you shared this to your page, please let everybody know that you shared it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're gonna have time for them to put guesses in there because it's already 7:32, and we don't want to take time away.
Okay.
But uh,
Okay.
let's see who we got here. Welcome to Build It Through Culture Live, Elena Swann, the smiling in the
Woo-hoo!
world. I think for sure.
It's
Welcome, Elena.
me!
Thank you for coming.
Surprise!
We're so happy to have you, Elena. You know what? Introduce yourself to everybody that's watching, who you are and what you do, please.
Sure. I'm Elena Swann. I am owner of Connections with Elena, and I teach you about angel card readings and meditation. I'm a spiritual guide. I'm an intuitive light worker. I'm a Reiki master. I also teach about essential oils and how they can heal you emotionally and spiritually and mentally and physically, and they are magical. And that's what I do. I help people, and I love my job.
And for those of you that don't know Elena, she is magical because look
Oh,
at her smile. When she comes into a room, she lights up the whole room.
thank
The
you.
energy is beautiful and warm and welcoming. And we're so lucky that you're here with us tonight.
Oh, I'm
Absolutely.
so happy to be here.
Yeah, I think I said one time, like Elena shows up in a lot of different meetings. She gets around, which is what you're supposed to do. Like if you wanna win at networking, you've got to get around, right? So she comes to different meetings, and every time you come in, the biggest smile, and it's not there's not fanfare. She's not coming in waving her arms and talking above everybody, trying to get attention. Like you're just naturally, your energy's like, I just turn and I'm like, if we had more members like you in every chapter, I think the energy is automatically raised.
Oh, so high, such high
Oh,
energy. And listen, guys, she's going to be at the golf outing. I
I
can't wait to hug her in person and
am
like
excited.
feel her energy, right? I feel her
Oh.
energy on Zoom, but actually feel her energy, right? So we're so super excited to have you. And she's coming from New Hampshire, people.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
again,
Yes.
came
Thank
all
you
the way
to my
down.
Rachel for letting me stay at her house. Thank you.
we
She's
love
Awesome.
Rachel
amazing.
too.
It's
Mhm.
good. It's good to have people, right?
Yeah.
Good to have people.
Yes.
So what we're talking about here is like we were saying, how you show up makes the difference.
Right.
And Elena, we want to give you a chance to just give you perspective. And this is something I don't think I've ever said this in front of the audience, but this is unscripted. You can tell that Steph and I
Mm.
don't script this, but we don't have questions prepared for a surprise guest. It's a topic, and the person is very representative of the topic. So we want to give you the platform, Elena, to talk about how you show up, what you do, what other people can do, maybe some
Mhm.
tips, some things that people aren't thinking about that make the difference in
Mhm.
a bit in attendance and showing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So,
energy, right? How to be
yeah.
energetic.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I do is I try to go early to kind of connect with people before the meeting. And if I can, I at least get there on time. That's like one of the things that I definitely do. I always come in really positive, even if, the kids just left the house and it was the worst morning ever. It's like, I'm okay, and it's like, who else had a hard morning with the kids? And everybody's like, I did. And then, you find something in common with those people. And I'm always sending, positive energy and light. That's what I just do all the time. And it's about engaging also. I love listening to all the sound bites. I can like kind of quote everybody's little taglines, and I'm like, oh, and here it comes, and it's just so fun. And I sit there and I take notes in my notebook. I always have a notebook right next to me, so I'm taking notes for the people that I like really feel something in common with, so I remember that I need to connect with them, not just saving the chat, but I also save it in my notebook so that, I can connect with those people after. And I usually, I connect with those people about the people that I am drawn to as well, the people that are smiling. Of course, a smiley, positive person is going to be attracted to a positive, smiley person. So, it's my goal to get to know everybody, but those positive people, they're kind of like happening first, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I mean, I like how you're talking about being active in the meetings.
Yes.
I mean, some people,
100%.
it's even worse than attendance, where they're there,
Right.
But they're not really
they're
there.
not there. They're
Right.
something is going on over here. But you're
Right.
actually taking it a step further. You're not just paying attention. You are actively taking notes, making
Yeah.
notes, listening,
Mhm.
remembering, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I even write down names of people that I want to connect people to as well. That's one of my intuitive gifts. That's why my business name is Connections with Elena. I'm very good at connecting people and people with heaven. So that's why I named
Ooh.
it Connections with
Right.
Elena. Yeah, 13 years ago, my dad and I sat down and we brainstormed my business name at the kitchen table. He said, "What do you do?" And I said, I'm really good at connecting people because I had this job as the industry coordinator in my acting company at the time. And I would intuitively watch their auditions and connect them with the industry people that I knew that the industry people would connect with them as well.
Yeah.
And I got more actors' jobs than I did myself. But that was okay because I am so also very happy to always celebrate everybody's successes. I love to hear the testimonials. I love to hear about the events. If I can make it to an event, I always try, and supporting everyone, and we do what we can. I'm always really thankful for the leadership, and I always say thank you after my soundbite, especially if I'm a guest. Thanks for having me. Knowing that I really appreciate their time also,
Yeah.
because it is a big time commitment as well. I feel like Master Networks is my third job now. Honestly, maybe fourth on top of being a mom.
But here, is it really, listen, this is the question you ask yourself, right?
Mhm.
I don't, no matter how many meetings I go to and how it's like, this is awesome because I'm connected with all
Yeah.
of these amazing people,
Yes,
right?
completely. And like I said, I love my job. So I love my third job now. I'm only a member since February, and I'm so happy. I was so very honored when I was asked to be the new member advisor. I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, all right, let me know what to do. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll help you out.
Why not?
So like also stepping up for leadership. If you have, extra time, or maybe you don't even have extra time, but it's like a little tiny bit that you can do. You're going to the meeting anyway. Be the soundbite facilitator,
And it's an honor.
You're
It's
there.
an honor to be
It
asked.
really is.
People need to understand that it's really, truly an honor to be
Mhm.
asked to be part of leadership,
Definitely.
right?
It is.
Definitely.
It is, because it really, honestly, leadership. Like, there's a lot of people who have different viewpoints on what leadership is.
Right.
Who can be in leadership and whatnot. But the fact is, leadership is really, it's got to be demonstrated first of all, right? A true leader, you don't
Mhm.
tap somebody and go, "You are now a leader, so take this task list and go lead others with this task list." Like, you're demonstrated leader, and then you somehow make your way or find your way or brought into the fold of leadership by maybe somebody
Mhm.
who's already in leadership, because you've already demonstrated what it takes. So
Definitely.
the servant leadership is part of that. Like, you serve without any asking of anything in return, because you want to just give to people and add value. But that's what leaders do, right?
Mhm.
Leaders are leading others by serving them, what do you need? Because here's where we're going. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you've done that. So you've shown up. So Tina told me that early on. Her compliment of me early on was, well, Rob, you just kept showing up. Like, I don't, that doesn't even sound good. Like, you just kept showing up. Like, so I had to give you the work. No.
But no, but you show up and you ask, right? You're asking, like, how
Mhm.
can I support you? What can I do? How can I help? And that doesn't mean by like, oh, how can I get business from you? It's no, how can I help? What is it that you need
Mhm.
that you is a pain point for you that we can help each other with?
Right. It's a team.
Right.
It's a team effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when you come in a room, Elena, like some people, I don't think they really understand some of the things you've already said, but there's got to be other things you can do, like to how you show up in making a difference, right? So
Mhm.
I think the making a difference, and we titled that, it was making a difference. That's a
Right.
very positive thing, and that's an impactful thing. So what are
Mhm.
some of the things you do that actually make the difference in, when you're there, what you're doing, or even how you're coming across?
Mhm. Well, I'll give you some of my secrets, okay? So I
Ooh.
always try to wear something bright, right? Like I wore for this, something bright so that you stand out in that little box. People have these beautiful backgrounds and everything. I'm kind of blessed because I have just, an angelic background. So
Mm.
that works for me, right? But you have your lights on. Make sure that everybody can see you in that little box. For me, I always like to put on a little lipstick, you know? And like the song says, you're never fully dressed without a smile. So you have
Yeah,
to bring your smile, you
yeah.
know? And
For some reason, why do we have to teach smiling? And by the way, I'm totally guilty of this. I was never a smiling person. And I remember early on, it was a mentor of mine, and he said, he goes, and he was trying to be delicate with me because I was very
right,
fragile. And he
right.
goes, you have a great smile. He goes, when you smile. And I thought
Mhm.
smiling, when I smiled, like I felt like I was a clown. Like my smile was so big. I actually had to stand in the mirror and practice. So when I showed up, it felt unnatural to like, show your teeth and open your mouth and smile like wide. It was unnatural. But I understand that some people don't naturally do it, but it doesn't mean you can't learn. And honestly, what other thing is more engaging, or it says, I
Mhm.
like you, let's talk, more than a smile?
Oh, absolutely. And that was really hard for me when I was wearing a mask, in the pandemic. I remember I was in the grocery store for one of the first times with the mask, and I smiled at this guy because I smile at everybody. And I smiled at him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he can't see that I'm smiling. So I said to him, I'm smiling at you. And he was like, I can actually tell from your eyes.
Yeah, I was going to
I'm
say that you
smiling
can
back.
tell from somebody's, and here's the funny
So
thing,
funny.
and you guys should practice this, right? When you smile and speak,
Mhm.
your tone is different. So
True.
if you're just talking like this and you don't have any, there's kind of like a
Mhm.
deadpan face, but when you smile and speak, your voice
Because
changes.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
learned that too back when, Zoom wasn't really much of a thing and it was all phone calls. I was taught that too. If you smile while you're on the phone, the other person can feel it. I'm like, what?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
what else? What else do you do? What can people do? Because smiling so bright, clothes, right? Being
Right?
active,
Yep.
and that's not apparent that you're being active necessarily, but it's something that you do that engages you in
Yes.
the meeting. So
Yep.
when you show up, like what are other things you can do that will make that difference for people?
Yeah, I also try not to look at my phone. Like, I'll try to put it face down if possible and, the ringer off. That's definitely something. And just, being present. It's just an hour, you know? It's not a long time.
Right.
So if you're, like, present and you're able to also offer I wanna say your heart. Offer
Mhm.
your heart to everybody because everybody is coming for some reason. Yes, we all want to have businesses and we all want to be successful, but we also want to connect with people. And if you're just sitting back and you're closing yourself off, no one's going to connect with you. You're not going to connect with anyone. So you may as well just not come for that hour, you know?
Right.
Because you're blocking that energy,
Yes.
right,
You
Elena?
could
You block
totally
that
block.
energy.
Yes. And, I always tell people when I'm giving them readings and, the meditations and everything, you want everything uncrossed. When you cross, you block energy. So I always have feet on the floor, my hands are
Don't do
open,
this.
ready to receive. That is like
Hold your arms.
you are not going to talk to anybody if
Yeah.
you're standing like this, you know? And I'll have people sit down for a reading with me and they're like, "Read me." And I'm like, "This is going to be really hard for you and me.
Right.
Let's
So
get you
let me
open."
read you out the door,
Yeah.
right? Like who wants, I love it when people are like testing you, like, oh, well, show me, prove, right?
No. It's
Well,
not
you have
meant
to be
that.
open to things in order for things to come, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's in anything in life. You have to be
Everything.
open to it.
Mhm.
What I like about Elena when you show up, it really is a great example of what we were talking about before about people asking what's in it for me.
Right.
And in the end, look, we all know that we're more selfish people. And that sounds harsh, but we want, even when we give, we do it to get good feelings, right? We feel good. So it really goes to that essence. But we're there. We want business. We're there because we want connections. We're there because we want friends. We're there for all these things that we want. But the paradox is you don't get what you want until you take your eyes off yourself, put it on the other person, forget about you. So it's
Mhm.
becoming selfless and
Yes.
just going. And again, I've been saying this more and more, especially when new people are in the room.
Mhm.
It's what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you, this organization is kind of exclusive in a way, in that
Mhm.
if you're not relationship based, if you're going to come saying, "What could I get out of this?"
Right.
I'm sorry, but there's
Nothing.
the door.
It's not
Nothing.
going to work.
You can get
We don't
nothing
have
out of
anything.
this.
We
Right.
don't have
Not gonna
anything
work
for
for
you.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also have to say, Rob, saying that you're selfless or selfish, you also have to be balanced with energy. So what you give, you also need to receive back, or else your energy is unbalanced and you're not going to feel right. Because if you're giving, 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 giving all the time and you're never receiving, those people, all they do is give for people
Right.
and they never receive back. They don't even pray for themselves, they pray for other people.
Right.
Their energy is off. They're always tired. Why do I always feel drained? I got to go take a nap. It's because the energy is unbalanced. So I teach people about that too. And it's really important. And I
Yeah.
feel like that the balance in master networks is so there because everybody is giving and receiving that entire time. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely. It is that too. That we talk so much about giving, and sometimes I'm trying to teach people, like what you just told was. I've actually never heard it put that way,
Right.
where you're giving, right? And
Mhm.
we always really or we take to those people. You're such a giving person, right?
Yes.
And those people, they're giving, but sometimes they don't feel worthy of receiving. But unless they
Exactly.
receive, eventually they're going to be drained, right?
Mhm. Yes, you have to receive. The people that aren't able to receive are the people that are blocking their own lives and that are, it's the self-doubt. It goes back to the yellow chakra, the solar plexus chakra. I deserve it. I am worthy.
Right.
Everybody is worthy. Everybody deserves it. The universe, God, the angels, whoever you want to believe in, they want to give us the best life ever. And we're the ones that block it, the humans. We block it. I don't deserve it. That's very human. As a soul, as a spirit, we're like, yay! And everything is great. And we can receive and give, and everything is flowing. But as a human, we are here on earth to learn these lessons, and they're hard. And so God put us with other humans to learn lessons, but also all of those connections in heaven can help you. I always teach people ask for help. It's okay. You should be asking for help. You shouldn't be climbing the shelves in the supermarket to reach the mayonnaise because it's all going to fall on you. Just ask the tall guy coming down the row. It's really that easy.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is,
It's simple.
some people who are saying, I'm here for what I need,
Mhm.
right? And the paradox is, well, you don't get it until you give, right? You get what you give,
Yes.
right? You don't, you sow what you reap, but you don't always sow where you reap. So you
Right.
can't go, I give to Steph and she gives to me, or Elena gives to Rob, and it's not reciprocal in that direct
Mhm.
fashion. So the people who are going, I'm here for what I need, but yet they don't give anything and they're wondering why they're not getting anything.
It's got to be the
You don't
balance.
understand. It's got to be the balance, but you got to start
Balance.
taking that step first. So, we talk
Mhm.
about how you're showing up. Are you showing up to contribute? We brought up that core value. That's, the third core value in Master Networks is the contribution. What
Right.
are you contributing wherever you go? I don't even want to talk about just chapter meetings. Like, show up
Mhm.
at a
Everywhere.
barbecue, show up at a barbecue, a family event. If
Right.
you're going like, I'm not having a good time, are you helping somebody else having a good time? Because guess
Totally.
what happens, right?
Then you automatically have a good time,
Mhm. It's
right?
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of giving, um, El- Elena has said she will pull an angel card.
Oh, yes. Yes,
So
yes, yes.
everybody should be open to this, right? So make sure you're not crossing anything, right? Let her pull this beautiful card, receive the beautiful energy, right?
Yep. Every time you have an angel card reading, it's always a healing. So this is a healing and it's always positive and loving messages. So I have already prepared the cards because there's always preparation. Just like when you come to a meeting, you have to be prepared to be there. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're just going to shuffle the deck and just ask for what everybody who sees this video, whether live or recorded, what do you need to hear today for your healing and your growth? And I feel like it's this one right here. New love. Okay. So new love is going to come into your life in the way of being this new, beautiful, I'm hearing celebration and partnership. I feel like there's going to be a lot of partnerships made through this new, season, through the summer and even into the fall. So I would say that I feel that everybody should not like look, cuz when you look for things, you kind of miss it. You
Mhm.
have to just be open to receiving that new partnership coming to you. And it could be a partnership like a collaboration and you're doing an event together, or even just a partnership that you're getting together on a face to face and you find something brand new that this person can help you with, something like that. I feel like that's the new love coming in. And some people are also going to start a new project, which is going to be like a new love, either a brand new business
Mm.
or in like another facet of their business, I'm hearing. And that's what
Ooh,
the new love card is
I
going to
like
be.
that. I like that. I love
yay!
good news. I love good news.
Thank you so much for
Totally
sharing
good.
your
That is
gifts with
awesome.
us, Elena.
My
Yeah.
pleasure.
And Elena, just again, give us your website or a way to get in contact with you in case anybody wants to know more about what you're talking about. We can scroll that across the bottom for them.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's connectionswithelena.com. I'm on Instagram as Connected Elena. I'm Elena Swann on Facebook. I love new friends. So you can friend me, I'll friend you back. And yeah, I'm on LinkedIn too, So it's
Awesome.
just
So
Elena Swann.
there's connections with Elena.com. So give, connect with Elena, right? Learn
Absolutely.
more about this stuff because
I love
let's
it.
just talk about it. And look, we know admittedly some people like that's so woo woo. I'm just not into that. Look, man, the universe has a flow. And if you're fighting, if you're not experiencing joy, everything seems like a struggle, you may want to open up your ears to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, take it in,
Yeah.
accept the messages that are given to you, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and again, Elena, thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us. Thank you for coming on here with us tonight.
So
Ooh,
happy
big
to be
shout
here.
outs
Thank
for
you, Elena.
Elena with that beautiful, bright, energetic smile. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Elena.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
say bye-bye. Thank you for coming. We're gonna close this out, but we look forward to seeing you soon, Elena. All right. Take
Yay.
care.
Bye,
So there you
honey.
go. Wow. That was really different, right?
I just love her energy. Whenever she's in the room, I don't know, there's something about it that I always feel good about. And it starts with her smile. It really, truly does.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Right there, when we talk about how you make people feel again at the heart of culture, what do you do? And this was something that you coined, Steph, as kind of like the core essence of culture. to make it very simple for people. And if
Yeah.
we just think like kindness and the golden rule, right?
Spread love, people. Just go
Spread
out
love.
there and spread love. We live in such a difficult time right
Yeah.
now.
It's like
It
make
costs
other
you
people feel
nothing
good.
to be kind. It
Yeah.
doesn't cost a dime to be kind.
It
Right?
took me a long time to learn these lessons because I was one of those people that was struggling and fighting, trying to make things happen for me and
Right.
my family. And I'm working hard to do it. And it feels like, I would have these dreams, and I haven't had these dreams in years. I would have these dreams that I was running and I couldn't get anywhere. And I was expending all my energy and I was getting nowhere. And once I kind of let go a little bit and just kind of chilled, like a mentor of mine said to me one time, he goes, Rob, when I'm with you, I feel like
tense.
yeah,
Ooh.
that's what he did. And I understood what he meant because that's how I felt. And when I just kind of let go, like the people I needed came into my life, the opportunities came into my life,
Yeah.
everything started opening up. So, but that was when I stopped going, I need to get what I need from you. And I just said,
Yeah.
hey, what do you need? What can I help you with?
Yeah.
Right?
How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right. It does, and check on people. Look, we were talking about facial expressions in meetings tonight, right? If you know what people's normal facial expressions are, and suddenly you see that those expressions change, reach out to them, check on them. Maybe they're having a struggle. Maybe they need a listening ear. Maybe, maybe it would just be nice to hear a friendly voice and know that someone else is caring or recognizes and notices that. That happens a lot. I see that a lot. Robbie, you see that a lot. We'll all be checking on each other, right? Are you good? Are you good?
How
It
are you
does make
showing up in other people's lives? Like, it's not just about a meeting, right? How do you
right.
show up in somebody else's life? If they pop into your head, you probably want to reach out. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Right? All right, we're
So
going to start closing it out here,
yeah,
but just want to give a heads up. Next episode number 17, June 16th. So it'll be 4 days before the golf outing. So we're going to get one more episode in there where Steph's going to do something special in that. So you're going to want to tune in because there's some goodies attached to that episode.
yeah,
But
and
that'll be
guys,
working on your calendar.
again, if you haven't gotten your tickets to the golf outing, please do so. I want to again give a big, huge shout out to Renee Pride, who gave Rob and I the platform to do this on the Master Networks Inc. page. We love you, Renee. Thank Chaz Wilson for starting this organization. Thank our mentor, Tina Campbell, who started this whole region and who has mentored Rob and I both. But I want to thank every one of you that comes every time we're live to support, right? Again, this isn't for us. This is for you. Hopefully, we're bringing you value that you can share with others and share your experience. Make sure you're sharing it to your page because it has the ability to bring in some new members, right? By giving them a taste of who we are.
You know what song this is? Does anybody know? Did we talk about this already? Tell us if you know what song this is. I didn't know. But we're just closing it out. We're going to shut it down. Network for Life, everybody. Network for Life and build your network for life. We want to thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Build It Through Culture Live. Tune in June 16th, episode number 17. Please come up. Tina Campbell's got it pretty close. It is from Annie. It is from Annie. It is. There we go. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Spread love wherever you go and be kind, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.